This show is brought to you by Directory.com, the safest way to hire a contractor.
And we are back. Keep sharing stories, keep drinking coffee. Next story is about Typo that cost homeowner $10,000. John has the details. Go ahead, John.
Yes, sir. Let's go with it. Here's a real world renovation story that raises a big question. What do you do when your contractor makes a pricing mistake after the contract is signed? A homeowner signed a fixed price contract for 500 square foot addition, including a bathroom for $150,000. After the work started, the contractor came back and said he made a mistake. He accidentally listed plumbing at 1,000 instead of 11,000 as he had intended. He asked for the extra $10,000. The homeowner double checked and confirmed the contract clearly says $1,000. The homeowner believes that legally he isn't required to pay since it's a fixed price contract, but decided it was a legitimate mistake. In the end, the homeowner agreed to pay the extra $10,000 to avoid the extra stress and the delays with the project. So the first question I'm going to ask here, guys, is what's the difference between breaking a fixed price contract and a change order? Like, I mean, what do you think, Randy?
Yeah, this is a prime example of breaking it. That it was his mistake. And unlike the other guy, he did kind of bring it, although he did try to convey, he tried to pass it to the customer immediately instead of allowing what the customer ultimately did. But this is kind of what we were talking about on the break. Sometimes when you give the customer a chance to be a human being, they are. And in this case, the customer said, you know what, I get it. It was a mistake. It's a typo. We can all do it. I'm going to go ahead and pay it because he probably realized too that $10,000 on a $150,000 project, you've just eaten up every bit of that guy's profit, and it's likely not even going to finish. The job's probably going to be left in the condition it is. You're going to have to hire another contractor. It's just going to be a big pain. And so this homeowner did the right thing. This contractor would have been wise to offer additional services as a value add for the customer doing the right thing to really just blow the customer's mind, because the only person that made out here was the contractor who ultimately got what they needed. And but the homeowner, he had that chance, that opportunity to say, I really appreciate you being honest on this. I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and upgrade those Delta, home quality fixtures to the commercial quality fixtures or something at my cost, or something just to let the customer know how much he appreciated their honesty. So you really had an opportunity to turn that around, and looks like he just covered his butt.
I think if I have to guess, I don't know the full story on the back end, but if I have to guess, it was very experienced contractor. I see these stories all the time, and I think if you're a newbie, your ego, your lack of professionalism, you'll struggle to have that conversation. A lot of contractors make mistakes, and they just too shy. They would not come to the homeowner and say, "Hey, I made a mistake." They're gonna eat it. They're gonna be embarrassed to talk about it. I think it comes with experience, and I salute both homeowner and a contractor. Contractor
Yeah.
for dealing
Mhm.
professionally, homeowner to agree to pay. I mean, both are seems to be reasonable, and that's the thing about contracting. Like both parties have to be reasonable. Unfortunately, what I do see when homeowners getting three, four, five bids, sometimes they'll go with the lowest bid, pretty much knowing the contractor made a mistake. Because if you're getting bids, for, let's say you got five bids, 150, 140, 160, and then 110, you know, it should be red flag. It's either someone made a mistake or they're just not apples to apples because things cost what they cost, right? And unfortunately, I actually was in Atlanta with the window company last week, and the contractor told the homeowner that, well, homeowner asked me, "Did you lose money on the job?" He's like, "Yes, I did." The homeowner knew all along, and unfortunately, it happens. It's part of the business. We do underestimate jobs, how long it takes, because construction is tough, right? But here, it was a mistake on paper, so which is easy. Again, if you're the contractor, do not be afraid to come clean about your mistakes. You never know how it's gonna turn.
That's right.
Yeah, it sounds like the contractor and the homeowner had some of the rapport there too to begin with to even have this conversation too. So I think that's important to kind of call out as well because I've made this mistake and early on as you were talking about as a new guy in business and probably 02, 03 is like underbid a remodel,
But
and having to go to with the homeowner as the contractor and say, hey, listen, like I made a mistake. Like, I mean, that's one of those things of extreme ownership, that we talked about in the break. But like, it's really a right thing, actually to do. So I guess the follow-up question I would have in this though is like, I mean, how can homeowners make sure that they're not being screwed over in this situation when they agree to pay more, right?
well,
Because I think that's gonna be the fear in the back of their mind.
here's my question on it to both of you guys. And to our listeners, don't get any ideas from it because unfortunately there's a big room for fraud,
Mm-hmm.
in this industry because that's where, underbidding and price
Mhm.
gouging also happens. So if I'm bidding on a job 180 and you bid on a job 210 and I made a mistake because I did not do, like, I'll give you one example here in Minneapolis. Years ago, I bid it on a red roof, so the red color. So for those roofers who've never bidded on a red color shingles, you probably don't know, but they usually cost way more. At that time, average shingle, almost all colors, like Owens Corner, there was certainteed bar in the red color. It was $140 back then, and the regular was 80. So like the difference was significant. So I bid it in a job, and I was a couple $1,000s higher, and the homeowner went with someone else. So the someone else who they hired gave money, came back and said, I made a mistake. Red shingles cost more. And he did what this guy did, right? Like with the plumbing. And the homeowner said, well, I have bids higher. And Dmitry told me, like, he called me and said, Dmitry, I'm canceling the contract. I'm giving you a job. You told me that red shingles cost more and why your bid is higher. I went with someone else. And that guy now wants to charge me more. And I like you better, because you sound more professional. So there's definitely situations where a contractor can say, I made a mistake. Now they won the job, but if they fix the mistake, they could be higher bidders. How do you deal with that situation? Where is the fraud kind of
Mhm.
fake underbidding? Especially, I mean, think about it. If you do government contract, or you can't change bids.
No, no, I could promise you that. That's what I was going to say is, and you had mentioned where they make a mistake, but sometimes contractors will purposely underbid to win the contract,
Yeah.
then catch the customer halfway through the project, walls are exposed, roofs exposed, whatever the case is, and then say, I ran out of money, I misbid this, knowing from the very beginning that they misbid it so they can win the project. And then they've got the customer in a position where they're like, well, if I don't pay this guy, he's not going to finish the job and it's going to cost me more to hire somebody else to come in and finish it. So then they feel like they're in a hostage situation. There was a wedding venue in our area that called, and this company was hired to build the entire wedding venue, and they got about 75% through the project and then ran out of money. And it just turned out that they were just trying to win the project. It was a huge several $1 million project that they were
Oh,
trying to win. And I don't know how they figured out how they thought they were going to make it up other than just to tell the customer, I need more money. And so they ended up hiring us to come in and do the roofing portion of it to make, because the guy had to basically drop off the face of the earth. He didn't have any more money. And so I really felt bad for them because today it's a beautiful wedding venue, but it ended up costing them way more than what they originally agreed to pay, because unfortunately they went with the low bidder. And so do your homework, find out who you're working with. If they're more expensive, there might be a reason, and then there's the opposite, like Dimitri said a moment ago, where there's that guy that gives the customer the I don't want the business price, the gouge price, when it really should be 180 and they're charging 200 because he really doesn't need the business. So he figures if they'll pay 200, I'll take it, but otherwise. So do your research, and there are ways. I know that, Directory has a service where you can provide estimates and they'll look it over and tell you any red flags that they see. But that's a great service because, sometimes there are things like that example with the 1,000 versus 11,000. That would have been seen on a second set of eyes to go, wait a minute, there's no way that they can put appliances in for, 1,100 or $1,000 and
absolutely.
potentially catch that.
I do want to add in there too with that too is like I think one of the things that I saw as a sales rep, if you will, out there in the field was all these guys that were just bidding jobs, and that's the word that we've used, and they weren't really estimating and sitting down with the homeowners too. So, I would look the homeowner in the eye and just say, hey, listen, if somebody's going to just shoot you an email with a price, if they don't sit down and look eye to eye and go over this scope of work with you, like you throw their bid out immediately because I want to take the time to make sure I answer all of your questions. And so I would say that to the homeowners, like it takes a lot of time, right? It's going to take a lot of patience, like a lot of guys that don't show up. But the guy that just wants to run by your house and just throw a bid out there, like I normally don't accept that with that guy on my own projects at my house. Like I want an appointment. I want to sit down with him. I want to talk to him. I want to ask him questions. And if they don't do a thorough inspection, like this is a little different because it's like he's probably got a print and he says, hey, I want this edition or whatever it is. But like I do think it applies here is that make sure that you sit down and look eye to eye with the contractor and ask him all of your questions, because that's probably the biggest gap that I see with bidders and actual the professional companies.
My final message is for both homeowners and contractors. Contractors, your number one job is to work on your contract. That's literally your job description. You are contracting to hire labor and buy materials, and you have to get so good at it. So many contractors tell me, oh, I hate paperwork. Their estimates are like not detailed, bulk, like we'll do, they generalize everything. Become very good at itemizing and singling out every single item. The better you become at contracting, working on your paperwork, the better contractor you're going to be. And homeowners, when you choose a contractor, choose the one with the best estimates, with the best proposals, so you don't have disputes at the end. When we come back, we have one last story for you, how to fix a rushed renovation. Don't go anywhere.